Well, it's the team that a lot of people were punting upon to come good, and it is showing the signs of being a serious contender. Yes, Ricky Ponting's Delhi Capitals have staked their claim as one of the biggest contenders for this season of IPL. They beat Royal Challengers Bangalore yesterday, and convincingly at that. They batted well, they bowled well. It was the a performance of a cohesive unit, a team which knows its strengths, which knows its weaknesses, and all the positive elements coming together. My name is Arnab. We'll discuss the match today in IPL T20, Battleground T20, and of course, we look forward to the MI versus RR match, which will be played today in the evening. Joining me is Rasesh Mandani. Rasesh, professional and thorough performance by DC. Their batsmen coming good. The players who needed to attack in the death overs playing their roles really well, and then the pressure of chase, of course, RCB not able to handle that, but the bowlers, Rabada, Norkia, and Akshar Patel doing their job to the best that they could.
Yes, we thought it would be a closer game than it turned out to be, but it was a very convincing win for Delhi Capitals. You're right. They are them and Mumbai Indians are perhaps looking at this stage of the tournament two of the standout teams. Delhi Capitals, some cheer for their fans who've never seen their team becoming triumphs in IPL history. And it's clearly not just the change of name. They're doing a lot of things right. They took advantage of that initial power play overs, which some other teams are failing to do. And this team is virtually an India top order batting unit. Take out a Rohit Sharma and a Virat Kohli. This is the kind of batting unit that India would probably go in a T20 contest. So Dhawan, Shaw, Iyer, Rishabh Pant, and then they're having this heft of Hetmar and Stoinis, the big hitters towards the end as well. So they're making the most of the strength that they have, their informed players that they have. And as it turned out, on a wicket which was doing a bit, there was a bit of a response for the bowlers, for the spinners, a bit of grip towards particularly in the second half as well. Delhi Capitals batsmen put up enough total for their bowlers to take advantage of.
Right. I was guilty of asking the DC to chop and change very early, but then Prithvi Shaw pretty much shutting me up and shutting a lot of naysayers and critics up with his performance. He it looks like he's going from strength to strength. Their Ponting has seen something in him. He might not be the batsman who will give you a consistent 60, 70, 80 odd in every match, but perhaps he is the game changer for Ponting at the top of the order. He gets those runs in the top order, which Shikhar Dhawan will not, which if a Shreyas Iyer comes in, might take a little bit of time to get going. So I think Shaw is very crucial there. If he keeps getting those quick 30, 40, 50 odd runs, then that allows the likes of Shikhar Dhawan and Shreyas Iyer to play themselves in and then go for their shots. And obviously Pant and Stoinis. What a remarkable player Stoinis is turning out to be for DC. Struggled in KXIP, struggled in RCB, but then perhaps seems to have found his niche in DC under Ponting's leadership.
Yes, Ponting doing a lot of things which we can't see. He spoke about this minor technical adjustment that Shaw has made coming back and across in his technique, which is something that I'm sure he would have picked Ponting's brains on that as well. Something probably that he would have been working for a while now, but he's now sort of making that change as well. So that's helping him. It helps when a player of Ponting stature sort of clears your mind. So that is something that we're seeing in a lot of batsmen as well. Ponting knows Stoinis so well, and Stoinis sort of came, arrived. He's done well throughout the season, in fact. But that last finishing kick that is providing them is making that much easier for their bowlers. And then their bowlers are delivering. I mean, the spinners, the way sort of they stem the flow of runs after those initial wickets, that they got. For RCB to win this match, it was clearly a case of the top order firing, and then De Villiers had to come up with one of his great knocks. It was not to be, and I thought at that stage, with the kind of grip that the DC spinners have over the proceedings, Virat had already. It was just too much to do for Virat, and he played an uncharacteristic knock as well. Never really looked in control.
Yeah, that's what I want to speak about. But four wickets for Kagiso Rabada, purple cap holder right now. But I might be accused of camping for a particular bowler. But then Rabada is getting all those wickets because Norkia is creating that pressure. That pressure that he's creating with his extra pace, not letting batsmen score freely. Even a batsman like AB de Villiers struggling in front of his pace. I mean, Norkia is perhaps the most important cog in the wheel for DC in terms of their bowling is concerned. Rabada is that character who will give you the wickets, but Norkia, perhaps that is something which they were missing last season. that somebody who could actually back Kagiso Rabada up, bowl those 4 overs for just 30 odd runs or even less, pick up a wicket or two once in a while, and give that cushion to Rabada to go for those attacking options that Rabada has and perhaps pick wickets.
Yes, there are always unsung heroes in every successful campaign. Nokia is certainly one of them. And remember, they always preserve Rabada's overs towards the end. So they just bowls that 1 over in the opening power play, then they preserve 3 towards the end, 1 in the middle as well. So Nokia does that task which those Rabada overs which cannot be bowled. But I thought yesterday the Delhi Capital spinners were particularly effective as well. I mean, Akshar Patel, time after time, this sort of understated the left-arm spinner, a finger spinner. In fact, it was a day for left-arm spinners. Akshar Patel, Washington Sundar from the other side, Ravichandran Ashwin, all of them
Finger
sort
spin.
of, so all of them, making a difference, making it difficult for the batsman to score. It helps that there's just a little bit of grip on the wicket as well. I mean, put them to task at Sharjah, it will be that much tougher. So, just goes to show how much of a difference, how much of a good contest one can get to see if the wickets are better. And then Ravichandran Ashwin moment, we might want to talk about that. He didn't market Aaron Finch, did he? Or should we say Brown market Aaron Finch? I mean, that was there's going to be one of the talking points in the days to come as well. And not surprisingly, the cameras were flashing on Ricky Ponting the moment that incident happened. And I saw Sunil Gavaskar sort of taking on Michael Slater there as well. Slater was sort of supportive of Ashwin's decision to warn the batsman. And Gavaskar came out and said the batsmen don't caution you when they go out and
go for six.
So,
yes,
This
absolutely.
is a sort of divisive opinions in world cricket at the moment, and I think it's the Australians on one side, and a lot of the other cricket experts from other parts of the world who think differently.
Right, the spirit of the game. I think the Australians should be the last people talking about it. I mean, such has been the past, such has been their behavior over the years. Ricky Ponting, no saint himself, but yeah, he's taken up the job of the head coach. He wants his team to perhaps play the game in a certain way, and that's the reason perhaps Ashwin did not go ahead with that. He doesn't want to be at loggerheads with his coach. It's
which is one point, Arnab. It is one
right.
point that Ricky Ponting. We talk about the Australian past, but this is basically playing by the rules, right? I mean, these are the rules that have been okayed by the MCC. Ricky Ponting is, in fact, interestingly part of that committee, and then for you to turn around and say we should approach it differently, that's one of the reasons people have got an axe to grind with the position that he's taking.
Absolutely, no doubt about that. And Ashwin has every right to do what if he wants to man cut somebody. It's part. Firstly, I think I was reading a few interviews in the run up to this season of the IPL, and I think Dinesh Karthik in one of his interviews to one of the media houses said that the way we talk about this dismissal, the way we approach it needs to be changed. Why call it man cut? It became synonymous with man cut because he was the person who affected the first run out like this. Let's just give it an official name. Let's just start making it part of the process. Let's just tell batsmen when they are growing up that you cannot, get out of the popping crease. You cannot take that kind of an advantage because that is against the spirit of the game because you're trying to take undue advantage. So until and unless the ICC does not make it stand clear that this is part of the game and this is what we're going to call it from now on, I think this debate will go on. People like Ashwin will have a very, very how do I put it? I mean, they can stand their ground because it is part of the rules, and if they want to affect a run out, they can. Something like this happened in the 80s also. I remember Curtis Walsh, if you remember that famous clip that when he stood like this and put his arm around and the batsman had to go back to his crease. So this debate has existed for a very long time in cricket. I think the time has come for ICC to take a stand on this and put this entire debate to rest by making it official, by making it part of the mainstream sport.
But it is official, Arnab. That's the point. Those who are sort of raising an issue are missing the point. And Ricky Ponting has no ground to come out and tell his team that this is the way I want you to play the game, because when you're saying that, you're going against the rules itself. I mean, the backlash story is a thing of the past. I mean, Kapil Dev did it to Peter Kirsten. He had to receive the backlash, but that was then. I mean, since then the rules have changed. You put it out in place. You can very well contest it in your meeting rooms that this is not the right way to go. But now that the rules are laid out, this is the way to play. Generally, Ashwin has the last laugh on it. So he didn't say Mankad. He sent out a tweet where he said that this is the final warning in 2020. I'm not going to give a warning again. And he said hashtag run out non-striker.
Striker. Absolutely, absolutely. I think Ashwin did the best thing. Perhaps he will, what he's doing right now, this crusade that he's on, will perhaps make it easier for bowlers to shed their inhibitions, perhaps, and go ahead and affect this run out of the non-striker. So I think he's doing a great job in terms of empowering bowlers, which he's always wanted to, especially in these days of T20 where the game is tilted so much in favor of the batsman.
Absolutely. One last thing on this. I mean, what is unfortunate would be if the bowler sort of hit back to the bowler and it sort of tickles his finger and then goes to hit the stumps and the batsman is caught napping. That is unfortunate dismissal, but again part of the rules. But here the batsman is non-striker is trying to take an advantage before the ball is
Absolutely.
delivered. So that's clearly a case of not fortunate or I mean there's no reason that it warrants a warning. I was a bit surprised. It's a bit surprising that a lot of the Australians are taking the position that they are. I mean, Michael's later on are saying that he see no harm in this warning trend continuing. So why should it?
Well, I think now it's pretty much snowballed into this camp sort of a thing, where if an Aussie has said something, the other Australians, perhaps Ponting's stature is such, he is as close as anybody could be to being one of the greatest that Australia have had. So obviously you will need that you will have the Australian former players supporting them. Whenever this debate about IPL taking precedence over the international calendar comes, all the Australians go against it. Former players. Alan Border called it a money-making machine. I mean, deep down, perhaps Border would also see the positives which are coming out of IPL and so many others. That is the reason perhaps so many Australians, even young Australians like Joshua Philippe and the others who are part of this, not to mention Shane Watson, when he was struggling in his career in international cricket, resurrected his entire career with his 2008 performance with the Rajasthan Royals. So it's a matter of camps, I guess, right now. The Indians rallying behind Ashwin and the cause of making this more mainstream. And obviously, Ponting has said something, has taken a stand, and the Australians now backing the former captain. So perhaps that's that for Manka today. You want to add something?
Yeah, which is why perhaps the likes of a Virat Kohli and Anil Kumble across franchisee lines should take a position on it, unless they sort of believe they're not convinced about it, which is a different matter. But if they are, this is a good time to sort of carry the debate forward, because clearly, like you mentioned, it's not just a case of the principled position on the issue. Sometimes you just tend to back your own person.
Sometimes you tend to back your own person, and sometimes you just go by the rules. It's part of the rules, and you just do it. That's that. All right, then moving on to the first segment today, which is called the battle, and we will look at the match which is coming up: Mumbai Indians versus Rajasthan Royals. Mumbai on a high, close to the top with 3 wins, and Rajasthan Royals winning those first 2 matches in Sharjah have struggled ever since. Rasesh, I mean, you need the top 3 to come good. You need Butler, Smith, and Samson to take all the responsibility. Lomror showed that perhaps there are Indian players in the rank in Rajasthan who can take the responsibility and bail the team out if need be. But in terms of the personnel, I mean, Riyan Parag is not performing. Jaydev Unadkat hasn't come up with anything special so far. Is there anybody else that they can fall back upon in terms of the Indian talent, Rasesh?
But I think the one change they can make, and I've been speaking about it, is try and get Yashasvi Jaiswal in and get him to bat at the top of the order. I mean, Robin Uthappa is not getting those runs. I know that there is this theory that once you back an experienced campaigner, and if he does come good, then it can be very crucial towards the end. But Robin is looking completely out of space for a while. So why not promote a Yashasvi Jaiswal that allows you to sort of it becomes not a 3-man batting unit, a 4-man batting unit. But regardless of that, it is the top 3. One of Samson, Steve Smith, and Josh Butler will have to score a big innings, because otherwise, man to man, Mumbai Indians is looking lot more powerful.
Right, and in bowling, it has to be Jofra Archer, because apart from Archer, nobody really has the firepower to contain the kind of explosive form the Mumbai Indians middle order is in.
Yes, that's right. So that's why at the moment Rajasthan Royals are having their backs against the wall. So it's not just where they are positioned in the points table as well, but because they have got a lot more ground to cover as compared to some of the other sides as well. They're having too many areas that they need to sort of address. And like I've been saying, perhaps Ben Stokes will help a little bit more balance to the side. But they need to string together some victories before he comes in, because otherwise you're leaving yourself too much to do. It's all right having a Shane Warne in your dugout, but he can't do much. It's those men who are tasked with the responsibilities who will have to come together and deliver.
Right. So Ben Stokes is a like for like replacement for Tom Curran. Not a like for like. I
Yeah,
mean, like
Tom
a
Curran,
much
no, this
better
is the last
version.
match. So yeah,
Yeah, pretty much. So he needs to make it count because it's his last outing. In terms of Mumbai Indians, I think they're looking as good as they've looked ever. I mean, like they haven't looked this convincing in any of their campaigns when they've gone on to win. Also, in the points table, they're placed very high, and I think it's the form of Pollard. I mean, like Pollard has always been this player who is like been this man who's been out of touch and then come in and got those crucial runs in important matches. But this time around, Pollard's form is outstanding, and so is Hardik Pandya's with the bat.
yes. One of the things that the opposing team used to do with Pollard is sort of introduce spinners and make it that much tougher for him. But what he's now doing is sort of standing back and staying low and finding a way to smack them away as well. I mean, he won the battle against Yajwendra Chahal. He's doing it against good, skillful bowlers. So that's where he's covering up a lot of bases. And like you said, now Krunal Pandya's now gotten into some form as well. Hardik's looking good. So that's the difference between the Mumbai Indians and some of the other side. They don't have a top order. They also have an equally strong lower middle order, which sort of is able to change gear when the time warrants.
Yes, and Bumrah might be leaking a few runs here and there, but then you've got the likes of Bolt and Pattinson taking responsibility, the two international fast bowlers that they have. Rahul Chahar also getting good support from Krunal Pandya in the spin department now. So it's very difficult when you see a team like Mumbai Indians, the kind of personnel that they have, and when all the players are hitting form, it's very difficult to see how you would beat them, and perhaps. Not even midway through the campaign, you can actually bet on them to go on and win a fifth title.
Yeah, so if this stage we were forced to pick two teams to make it to the finals, if there were to be no further matches, we'd probably pick Mumbai Indians versus Delhi Capitals.
Mumbai Indians versus Delhi Capitals, and Sunil Gavaskar would love to see Mumbai come up trumps against Delhi, as he has liked seeing them do it in the Ranji Trophy circles. But then moving on to the next segment, which is the trump card of the match, we've both gone in with Rajasthan Royals players because we understand that the onus is on the Rajasthan Royals players to force something in this match because man for man, MI look way stronger. You've gone in with Jofra Archer. I can totally understand why, because Archer will have that added responsibility of not just picking up wickets up front, but keeping it very quiet in the death.
Yeah, Archer's clocking high speeds is troubling the batsman. He's been able to sort of he is his own bowler despite the fact that he's not getting the kind of support around him. So imagine if there is a little bit more support, if Jaydev Unadkat can raise his game just a little bit, that might help him as well. But I thought of probably picking one of Rohit and Pollard, but the thing about Rohit is he can come to the party at any stage, but consistency is not his forte. And with Pollard, who knows, he might not get as much opportunity to bat. So I went in with Archer with the kind of rhythm that he is in. He might just trouble the Mumbai batsman. And remember, this is Abu Dhabi, not Sharjah. So always a reason for the bowlers to be interested.
Yes, I've gone with Butler because I feel if Rajasthan Royals need if they are to challenge Mumbai Indians in this match, then they would need a big total if they are batting first, or if they're chasing, then it seems like Mumbai will be able to put on a big total because Rajasthan, apart from Archer, as you said, don't really have a very strong bowling unit currently. Doesn't seem like so. Butler, a lot will depend on him. He's due for runs in this season. Hasn't really clicked so far. So if Butler gets going and gets those big shots going, Rajasthan Royals have a good chance, and that is the reason why I've gone in with the England wicketkeeper batsman. Your thoughts, Rasesh?
Yeah, one of the most destructive batsmen in this format potentially. Although you would find it a bit difficult to lap sweep a Jasprit Bumrah, but that's the beauty of this contest. Who knows, he might still find a way. I mean, the way Stoinis has been using the angles and doing all sorts of things against difficult bowlers, Butler might give us a cue on how to tackle some skillful fast bowlers as well. I mean, Mumbai Indians have got enough of them. Pattinson, Bolt, and Bumrah all bowling with different angles. So that would be a fascinating contest how Butler handles each one of them.
Right. Quickly before we close, that moment from yesterday's match where Virat Kohli almost put saliva on the ball and then realized at the nick of time. I think it was a good it was a good break for everybody who was watching the match also and who was on the ground. Perhaps to see the Indian captain, the Indian captain, of course, the RCB captain, almost committing a mistake, almost breaking the COVID-19 rules, and then realizing that he can't put saliva. We've already seen other players committing the mistake earlier.
Yeah, I mean, Robin Uthappa has done it in the past. To those who've been watching closely, and in fact, this generally happens when you're a bit nervous, when the nerves get in. I mean, Uthappa dropped that sitter, and then sort of as a quick reaction to dust off the disappointment, he did that. So this can sometimes happen, and the rules, in fact, don't say that it's not a crime. You can be warned by the umpire, and particularly, obviously, if you're going to admit a mistake that it happened inadvertently, not intentionally, then that's something that the umpires will think over. But one of those things. I mean, you've grown up doing this, and to suddenly change your ways is difficult. So in fact, I think the players are doing it a lot better. You've seen very few instances of players committing this mistake.
Yes, indeed. All right, then we'll come up with the Battleground T20 again tomorrow and discuss the match between MI and RR, and of course look forward to the match which will be played tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching, and for all the news related to IPL, keep reading Hindustan Times and keep logging on to hindustantimes.com. Thank you.
Thank you.